History will forever remember Napoleon Bonaparte and his revolutionary triumph of the 18th and early 19th century. But how much do we know of his secret lovers? Let's dive into this intriguing subject and uncover what has been shadowed by his military success. Maria Walewska met Napoleon for the first time in 1806 in Bonny. According to Maria's own memoirs, she spoke briefly with the French emperor in an inn when his carriage was changing horses, but the meeting was inconclusive. However, Napoleon remembered her for her extraordinary conversation and requested to see her in Warsaw, intending to have regular meetings with her. The intimate relationship was initially kept secret, even though unofficially it was one of the most widely commented news in Warsaw's higher circles. She visited Napoleon, who was residing in the capital's royal castle, though only at nights, and would secretly leave the building each morning. Her relationship with Napoleon ended in 1810 after she settled in a palatial residence in the Rue de Montmorency and was given a large rent of 120,000 francs. During the Egyptian campaign, Napoleon finally realized his wife Josephine was unfaithful to him, and to have revenge, he decided to try out the local women. So he ordered his officers to bring him 6 Egyptian beauties. Yet, Napoleon wasn't attracted to exotic oriental women. Instead, he found an attractive French girl, Pauline Fors. However, she had been married a few months earlier to one of Napoleon's soldiers and accompanied him disguised as a man to Egypt. Napoleon began courting Pauline, giving her expensive gifts. Yet, Pauline resisted. Using his power, Napoleon sent her husband on an urgent mission back to France and invited Pauline and other French ladies for a lunch the very next day after Pauline's husband's departure. During lunch, Napoleon accidentally spilled a jug of water on Pauline's dress and then took her into his private room to, shall we say, resolve the problem. Needless to say, the prolonged absence of Napoleon and Pauline didn't go unnoticed by other guests. Pauline's husband returned earlier than expected since his ship had been intercepted by the British Navy. Upon learning of Pauline's infidelity, he became violent with her, and they divorced. Pauline, being Napoleon's mistress, lived in great luxury in Cairo. But Napoleon had to return to France in 1799 and couldn't take her with him. She became the mistress of Napoleon's deputy in Egypt, Jean Kleber. Napoleon didn't forget about his Cleopatra, as he used to call her. He arranged for a good husband to provide her with a comfortable life. Between 1802 and 1804, Napoleon had affairs with 2 French actresses, Marguerite Georges and Josephine Duquesnoy. They were 2 of the finest stage actresses of the era. Marguerite was originally the mistress of Napoleon's brother Lucien before she started an affair with Napoleon himself. Napoleon supported the career of Marguerite Georges, while Napoleon's wife Josephine supported the career of her rival, Josephine Duquesnoy. To make things even more complicated, Napoleon had sex also with Josephine Duquesnoy. The rivalry between Marguerite Georges and Josephine Duquesnoy was such that it divided theatre lovers into 2 rival sections. Whenever they performed together, the police had to attend the show for peacekeeping. Elizabeth de Wardy was a lady-in-waiting for Napoleon's wife, Josephine. When Napoleon went to the baths of Aix-la-Chapelle to improve his fertility, she came along and became his mistress. However, jealous Josephine suspected the affair, and on October 25, 1804, Josephine caught Napoleon with Elizabeth in a secret apartment. She lashed at them, and Napoleon furiously threatened to divorce her, since he was sick of her spying on him. Eventually, Napoleon and Josephine made up, and Elizabeth was forced to resign her post 5 days later and leave. She sadly died in poverty in Paris. When Napoleon came to Austria in 1805, he met a beautiful 20-year-old Emily Kraus, an adopted daughter of an Austrian officer. He immediately took her as his mistress. Dressed as a boy, she accompanied him on many military expeditions under the pseudonym Felix. Her existence was a heavily guarded secret. She also accompanied Napoleon in Paris, but she was not allowed to live in court. She gave birth to Napoleon's son Eugene on May 3, 1810. The next day, Napoleon's second son, Alexandre, with his Polish mistress Marie Walewska, was born. Just 1 month before, on April 1810, Napoleon had married his second wife, Austrian Princess Marie-Louise, and ended the 5-year-long affair with Emily. Although Napoleon provided Emily with the title of Baroness and deposited a substantial amount of money, 480,000 guilders, in the Bank of London, she died in poverty. Napoleon met a beautiful 18-year-old Eleonore Danioli de la Plaine in 1805 in the service of his sister Caroline Bonaparte Murat. Unbeknownst to Caroline, Eleanor, although married, was the mistress of Caroline's husband Joachim Murat, who recommended Eleanor to Napoleon. In 1806, Eleanor began an affair with Napoleon and divorced her husband. On December 13, 1806, she gave birth to Napoleon's son, Charles Leon. She wanted to name their son Napoleon, but the latter agreed only on half of the name. Therefore, the boy was named Leon. The birth of Napoleon's first son was important since it proved Napoleon wasn't sterile and could have an heir. This proved it was Josephine who couldn't have children anymore, which caused their divorce. In 1808, Napoleon married Eleanor to a young lieutenant, Pierre Philip Augier of Sauzet, but received a large annual pension as a dowry. Albine de Montholon, Napoleon's last mistress, met Napoleon after he was exiled to the remote island of St. Helena. She was a girl known for having lots of lovers. Although she was accompanied by her third husband, Charles de Montholon, she embarked on numerous affairs, including the one with Napoleon. Albine gave birth to two of Napoleon's daughters, Helene and Josephine. When Napoleon learned Albine was having an affair also with another man, he sent her away from the island and back to the mainland. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe for more.